Hi, St. Paul's kids. Oh, it's nice to be together again. Have you noticed that it's no longer dark at 4:30? It's now 20 of 6 when it's pitch dark, so the days are getting longer. And if you look over here, that is a definite sign of spring. Those are pussy willows. And that's the first bunch of pussy willows that I bought this year. So spring is on the way. You don't quite think so with all the snow that's outside, but it's coming. This reminds me that we're in this very special season called Lent. And this is how the word Lent looks, L-E-N-T. And this started last Wednesday. And this is a season where we prepare for some change. Now, if the pandemic wasn't here, churches would be open and we would all be going to church together. I have to talk to you a little bit about crosses that are done on your forehead. When you were born, you became part of Mom and Dad's family, and they were so excited. And when you were a few months old, they took you to church, and Pastor Betty did a cross on your forehead with water. And that was called being baptized or being christened. And either Pastor Betty did it or another minister did it. And at that point, you became part of God's family, this huge family. So I'm part of that family, Mr. Korsh is part of that family, and we all take care of each other and help one another. So that's pretty awesome. In Lent, last Wednesday, if all the churches were open, families would go together to get yet a different kind of cross on their forehead. And this little girl went and got a cross on her forehead made with ashes. And the ashes are from palms left over from last year that were burned, and that's what Pastor Betty would make the cross with her finger dipped in the ashes. So, Lent is a very special time of year when very often in households, people start cleaning up. Your family might decide they'll wash the windows or put the screens on. Mom might come and say, could you please go through your toys, and any toys that you're not using, could you put them to one side so we can donate them to children who have less than we do? She also may ask you to try on a whole bunch of clothes, and all the clothes that are too small because you're growing like weeds, she would also have you put in a bag, and they would be donated to the thrift shop or someone that your family knew needed that clothing. This is a time when we think about not only cleaning our house, but kind of think about what's going on in our head and the fact that we might need change. And that brings me to the word repent. And that's an interesting word. Repent means to go in a different direction. Technically, if you're walking this way and you repented, you would turn around and walk that way. Repent also means, in changing direction, that if you've behaved one way, you might think, this doesn't seem very nice. I'm not being very fair. I need to change and go in the other direction. So Lent is a time that we repent and we turn to God and we say, we are really, really sorry for all the mistakes that we've made. And we're asking God for your forgiveness. And we're forgiven. So this is a really good time to spring clean our heads and make sure that we're going in the right direction. Lent lasts for 40 days. And I did a cactus because guess where Jesus was for those 40 days? You know where cactus grow? Out in the desert. So Jesus was out in the desert for 40 days. That's a pretty long time to be out in the desert. I wonder what he was doing. I think maybe he was talking to God. I think he might be praying a lot. I wonder if he knew at that point what was going to happen down the line, because Lent leads right up to Palm Sunday, when Jesus came back into Jerusalem. And a week later, Jesus is put on the cross. And of course, we know that when Jesus died, he was risen again, and that was God's way of making a promise that when we goofed up, we would be forgiven. So always remember that when you believe in Jesus, you're going to be forgiven for all those crazy things that you get yourself mixed up with. Mrs. Korsh gets herself mixed up with a lot of things, so I often ask for forgiveness, and I know that I'm forgiven. So this is a very interesting time, and of course, it's leading to Easter. And of course, we'll talk more about Palm Sunday and more about Easter a little bit later on in our year. But right now, believe it or not, as of Sunday, we've already been 5 days into Lent, so we only have 35 days to go. That's really amazing. And in 35 days, spring will definitely be here. So let's review for a minute. Do you remember what this season that we're in is called? I'll give you a minute to think. I'll show you the word. Lent. That's exactly right. You're too smart for me. And during Lent, this is a time when we change direction. Do you remember what the word is for that? Repent. Exactly right. Repent. Change direction. Try to be a little bit kinder, a little bit nicer, showing a little bit more love. Now, let's think a minute what's happening outside. It is still snowing at my house, and I hope you've had a chance to go out and make a snowman and make snow angels and have a snowball fight and, of course, go sledding. I really like the golf course. If you can find a golf course that's nearby, you can bring your sled and go sledding down the hills on the golf course. That's great fun. So enjoy all the snow. We have not had snow like this for several years, so it's very exciting. I passed a snowman the other day that a family had built together, and do you know what they did with that snowman? They gave him a red mask. So he looked very cute standing, holding a stick with his red mask on. So definitely have fun in the snow. Remember that I still miss you. Remember that I still love you. Who loves you? God and Jesus, that's correct. And will they always forgive you when you don't do the greatest things on earth? Yes, they will. Always, always. So, I hope to see you soon. Love you all. And I'll see you next time. Bye.